to Fireside Chat with Debbie Marks. I'm excited that we're having new people join us each month. Remember, we meet once a month on the second Friday of at 1 o'clock. And this way, if you have to take a late lunch from work or whatever, you'll be able to join us. And hey, Angie, there you are.
Hi, Angie.
And I had the opportunity to have a video chat or Zoom chat with Angie. So I welcome her. I'm glad she was able to make it today. Anyways, as you know, each month I'm going to put somebody in the hot seat. I want them to be able to share their story with us and help us understand what they're doing and how they're doing it and who is their audience, their specific audience. Today, I'm going to welcome Sally Sutter, who is the owner of Mermaid Travel. She believes travel and adventure are important to everyone's life. Her mission is to make sure everyone, especially those with special needs, follow their dreams to see the world. With this mission statement in mind, she's a certified autism travel professional, which is CAP or CATP, and she is also a special needs group certified assess, accessible travel associate, which is SNGCATE. So if you see those initials along in her description, you'll kind of get an idea what it is. After her marriage to John, she needed to make arrangements for John to have oxygen available while they were taking their first cruise. But in so, they realized they could continue their love to travel together by being able to have this service provided for John. But this started them to think that there are others that wish to travel with their loved ones, but really they have no idea where to start. I mean, I wouldn't, honestly. With Sally's certified training, she has the tools and understanding to assist her clients with all of their travel needs, no matter what they are. She has a direct line to hotels, theme parks, cruises, and even airlines to help make the arrangements that are needed for their client, for her clients. These needs can range from motorized scooters, oxygen equipment, to even roll-in shower chairs. Now, who would think of that? Sally looks at travel with all generations and special needs as a much needed chance to get a break from everyday routine. It is also a wonderful time to increase awareness, respect, and support for all special travelers. She knows long waits, pushy crowds, constant noise are all components of travel that can yeah, I said it before, exacerbate those with hypertension disorders and those not used to travel. And I'm sure you all agree that sometimes when we get in those long lines and people are pushy and it gets hot and oh, it
Yep.
just is very uncomfortable. There are even special cruises, theme parks, quiet rooms at airports, hotels, and tours that cater to those with special needs. Your need will be well planned, giving you the peace of mind and the time needed to prepare your special traveler when working with Sally Sutter and Mermaid Travel. Just briefly, Mermaid Travel is a full service travel agency servicing Central Ohio and the United States with all of their travel plans for 6 years plus. She's been working at this. This mission is to enrich, connect, and transform lives through travel. Everyone deserves a time to grow, open your mind and spirits to newness in a new place. Mermaid Travel makes this easy as a full service travel agency. that is a certified special needs travel agent and autism travel professional. So Sally, I welcome you. Thank you very much for joining me today. And my first question to you is, when did you start mermaid travel and why?
Well, I have to amend the date. I've been doing this. It's actually been over 16 years.
Oh,
But
yes.
the reason I started doing it, we had the opportunity in 1999 to join our friends in Hawaii for a couple of weeks. And that's the first time we had left the continental United States on any kind of vacation at all. And, you know, it just set off this, not wanderlust, because I think I always had that, but it just set off this desire to travel, to do more. So it was a while before we started Mermaid Travel, but you know, you get these shifts in life, little things that happen that kind of shift your perspective and make you think you could be doing more or something different. At the time, I was a real estate appraiser. I was co-owner in my own business as a real estate appraiser. So those two, you know, travel agent, real estate appraiser are just kind of opposite of the spectrum. This is a lot more fun. So it's just like in a few years after that, we were able to join what's called a host company. It's Kathy, it's one you were in, YTB. So we got training, and we knew actually nothing about training or about travel other than I liked the planning part. I did a lot of research whenever we went, because the year after Hawaii, we went to Belize, and that was 2000. And then we went in 2002, we went to Italy, and we've been on cruise ships like Windjammer Barefoot Cruise. So all this time I was gaining knowledge, and I also gained the knowledge that we are more alike than different. Wherever you go, everybody wants the same thing for their family. They want health, they want their kids to be safe, they want to make money. No, it doesn't matter where you go. We all want the same thing.
Well,
so that's what I try to, that's why to me, traveling is so important, because you get a different perspective.
Yeah, that's true. When your story started, what were you doing and why?
Well, I was a real estate appraiser.
Okay.
And I stayed with that for a few years after we started the company. And then in 2000, my husband had open heart surgery. Mm-hmm. And that was in the fall. It's like September of 2000. And then he decided to retire early. And so then not too long after that, I sold out my share of the company, of the appraisal company, to devote myself full-time to the travel company, but also my husband, you know, John's health wasn't getting any better. So I had to take that time to take care of him.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when John first became ill, and you were in a tough place. And you mentioned that during these struggles, you asked yourself, is there something else? What made you feel like there was something? Is there something else?
Well, I always felt that there was something else I should be doing until I started this. This kind of became my niche. So not only do I have the special needs part of it, but I also work a lot with seniors, and that has been very fulfilling.
When you mentioned that you and John started traveling, of those that you listed, what was your favorite?
Oh, that's a tough question, because they're all different. I mean, I really like Belize. I like Hawaii. I liked every place I go. Okay. Didn't like Morocco, and I wouldn't go back, but I'd go back to other places. But I didn't go to Morocco with him. So,
what would you say stood out with the Windjammer? trip?
Oh, I mean, it was when they say barefoot windjammer,
Yeah.
they're barefoot. The captain is barefoot. It's very relaxed. There's no dressing up. They are small ships. That company has gone out of business since then, but they do have revitalized a couple of their ships. So they're
Oh,
still barefoot ships. I think there's only maybe 16 cabins on the ship. So it's very,
very small and comfortable.
yes, unless you're in a storm, then not so much. But
I don't know if I'd like that. I mean, I remember when you and I were on a cruise and we went through,
the
what
outer
was that?
bands of a hurricane, yes,
Yeah,
that was interesting.
that was no fun.
I thought it was great, but I'm a little weird like that. But
That's okay. That's okay. um, so you've gone along these years. John became ill, and how did things go? You mentioned things went from bad to worse.
yes,
What do you mean?
well, especially when the recession and people stopped traveling, and it was hard to get a client base anyway. You can't count on your friends and family to book all their travel with you, so it's hard to find a client base. And then we we ended up having to file bankruptcy, and we lost our home. And in the meantime, I severely broke my wrist. So that kind of combined to, it was bad. And then we ended up moving in with my son in Sugar Grove. And Angie, I apologize for the shades, but I'm on vacation.
Yeah, she's down in Florida.
No, North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina. That's right. Um, so so with all those situations in mind, you mentioned to me that you reached the end of your rope. You hit rock bottom and you wondered what was next for you.
Right.
But
Well, we
you
were able,
mentioned,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
We were able to get help from the SBA, uh, Small Business Administration, the disability department because of John's age.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really the turning point out of our bankruptcy situation. We were able to, they provided him with a desk and a chair and training. And then they funded us to go to a convention where we actually met another host company that we ended up joining. And that part was kind of the turning point because this host company, Palm Coast Travel, didn't have any other, it wasn't like an MLM or anything. It's just travel. We got a lot of training. Um, but that was when we started I had a few part-time jobs, and we sold more travel. So we were, digging out of that.
Yeah, that would be hitting rock bottom when when you start that. And
Yep.
what were the discoveries that you made about who you are and what you were made of going through this? Because some people they feel like, well, this is it, forget it, I'm not going to go any further. And but you prevailed, you made it through. And so what happened?
Well, I know I've told you this. I found out I was stronger than my circumstances. So
Right.
I didn't have to live or die based on what was happening to me and us at that time,
Right.
or at all. And I actually learned that from my parents because they went through some pretty bad times when the stage of life when you don't think those things are going to happen, and they had to turn their life around, and they survived. And we survived everything. Um, so yeah, I get discover I'm stronger than my circumstances, and
Well,
that's been very helpful.
it's amazing when we go through different situations how all of a sudden we find the strength to pull us through that. And well, where did that come from? I never knew I could do that.
Right.
And, that really says a lot for any woman. And I'm going to, be flat out us women. And so you had events. What events did you do to accelerate this recovery? What did you have to do?
I had started doing things at the fairgrounds. Um, I did some with you, Debbie.
Yes.
The dispatch, or not dispatch, but the Eagle Gazette craft shows.
Mm-hmm.
I got some business from that. We got in, but not a lot. But we had been talking to Olivedale Senior Center for a while about
Yes.
helping them with their trips. And the woman who was the social director, she said she was more than willing for us to handle all of that, because if it's a day trip, that's fine. But the longer trips that people want to go on, so San Antonio was the first trip that we did in 2015.
Yes.
Which was a motor coach trip for the seniors, and it was a lot of fun. So that leads to I'm going to back up a little bit. I was working at Sears, and I just had a lot of problems, arthritis in my knee, and I couldn't stand. So I got a work, I didn't have to go to work. And then Debbie Roush called me, and she said, "I'm so glad you're home, because we've got this awesome family vacation. We want to take a Viking river cruise in China." And she said, if you weren't home, if you weren't available, my family would have booked somewhere else. So I was available to call for them to talk to. And that's a really good lesson. If you're going to do something, you need to do it full time. You just can't. So, and I said, okay, I talked to God. And I said, if we get this trip, I can quit working at Sears. And we got that trip, so I could stop working at Sears. And then, so April of 2015 was the trip to San Antonio. John did not go with me, as you know, because you were with me.
I was with you.
And during that trip, I got a phone call from my husband that said he'd been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, stage 4. It had already gone into his bones and organs. So I came home right away, and it was just at the time where I was going to be getting Social Security soon. So we had the money, we had the time, and then we ran out of the time. And he passed away in November of 2015.
Yeah, I remember those times. Mm-hmm. I remember, it's amazing how when you take a bus trip, you have an extended family that is traveling with you. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing how everyone just pulled together to be able to finish the trip and enable you to fly home and be with John. And that was very impressive, and it made a huge impression on me. You've done other bus trips that I've had the ability to go on. And so I was going to ask you, how do people find out about the bus trips? Even if they're not 60?
Well, they posted in the Olivedale newsletter, of course, and it's on my website. I put the bus trips on my website, which is mermaidtravel.tours.
Okay.
So, and there's then at the end of the last page is where you can put your information in, and then I can say what you want to do, or you can call me. So I've gotten a lot of calls this week. I've been actually busy this week. It's almost like it's almost
it always
like
helps.
Yeah. So it's all one word, Mermaid Travel, no capitals, but it's mermaidtravel.tours is the website. So while taking care of John, we had help. We had hospice come in. But I was taking care of him, and then also trying to keep the business running. And also, while he was in Landfair, I moved us to an apartment. So that was the plans all along, that we would move to an apartment. In fact, I got the notice that we had an apartment the same day John called me about his cancer. So he spent his last, let's see, probably 3 months in the apartment. And then he passed away there in November. And it was having this, for one, I kept it going out of respect for him, because we got it started together, and I'm sure he didn't want me to fail. So, and also it gave me something to do. If I hadn't had this, I had to get up every day and work on this. I had no choice. It also, but then I had the free time to actually go meet people and talk to them about their trips one-on-one. Panera is a good place. I've met a lot of people in Panera and Lancaster and in Canal Winchester. So usually when you meet one-to-one with a person, that becomes a trip rather than just talking on the phone or emailing or texting. So that really made a difference.
When you do one-on-one, the connection becomes so strong. So with how they are and what they're feeling, and they know that they can trust you.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can help. I don't want to use the word bet, but they might have some idea of what they want to do, and it might be all wrong. They might have heard something, they want to go someplace, but it might end up they don't. And so of course all that stopped last year. Everything stopped last year. And it's not much better this year so far, but I was able to get some grants and the PPP loan and all of that. So I'm able to stay in business, fortunately. Because and there's a funny side effect. Since my identity to myself was tied up as being mermaid travel, when everything stopped, it's like I lost my identity. And I was really depressed for a while. Even with Ed telling me that, that's not who you are. It's what you do, but it's not who you are. So.
Well, so what are you looking to do once we get out of this pandemic? What is your future hopes of building Mermaid Travels bigger?
Well, I'm not sure at this point in my life if I want it much bigger.
Okay.
Ed and I like to do things, and I don't want to make the mistake of being so focused on mermaid travel that I'm not focused on him also. I mean, that's just too big of a mistake. That doesn't mean to say I don't want more business, and I do want to make money, and we like to travel more, but I'm like, I've switched several trips from 2021 to 2022 that are going, and still do Diamond Tour, which is the the motor coach company for we were going to Mount Rushmore in August, and they canceled that trip.
I remember.
Yeah, that trip is awesome. But but going forward, and next Friday I have it's started something with a person in another group I'm in, Armchair Travelers at the Senior Center. So I've done one for the Groveport. It was about Israel, because I went to Israel a couple of years ago. And this next Friday is about accessible travel. And then I'm going to be doing another Armchair Traveler with, I think, the Hilliard Senior Center, all on Zoom. Although Groveport wants me back. Huh?
Can you explain armchair travel?
Well, armchair travel program, and it's the not bucket list trips because we didn't like that connotation for the senior center. So I actually
No.
am having a brain freeze what we call it, but trips you can't miss or ones you have to
Yeah.
go on. So a lot of Israel is on a lot of people's timeline when they can go.
Yeah.
So we decided to do that presentation to let people know it's safe to go, what to expect when they get there. Um, you know, so I have most of the slides of pictures I took. And then the
Oh,
other person just put a little video of how to make hummus, you know. So it turned out real well. I mean, there was only a couple people there, but that's okay. It was a good practice. And she wants me to come back when I can do it in person.
oh
So
yeah.
in May, probably.
So, what does the future look like for traveling to Israel?
Good. I mean,
I mean, like what,
not
next
today.
year?
Yeah, next
Next
year.
year?
I don't feel comfortable. I had a client that wanted to book a cruise for July, and I said, honestly, you can do it. If they cancel, you get your money back. But they've already just yesterday, Royal Caribbean and Carnival suspended their cruises to the end of June.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So now Royal and Norwegian will be cruising this summer, but they're cruising out of like the Bahamas or Bermuda or Israel. They're not cruising out of any home port, U.S. ports yet, because
Wow.
they're not allowed to. We haven't been able to go to Canada. Can't plan any trips there.
Yeah.
That hopefully by the end of the year, all of that will be open.
So, in closing, um, can you leave us um, with a thought about traveling for those that might be scared or hesitant? And I want you to explain to the audience what you tell people when they call and talk to you with these questions.
I try and I do. I'm as honest as I can possibly be. The situation is so fluid now. I feel much better if they want to book in 2022, even though that doesn't help my income in 2021. But and every country seems to have. It's okay to go to the Caribbean, but for right now, you have to get a. Last time I was here, a bird pooped on me, so so I'm just, um, 72 hours before you return to the United States, you have to have a negative COVID test, and it doesn't matter if you've had the vaccine or not. And for the train trip that's coming up in June, I'm requiring everybody to have their COVID vaccine, which, since most of them are in their over 60, I don't see that as being an issue. But I try to navigate as much as possible, give them the honest answers, tell them what is going to be required, what they don't have to worry about, what they do have to worry about. And then ultimately, it's up to the person.
Yeah.
The person that wanted to go on a cruise decided they'd rather go to an all-inclusive resort. So they're going to Jamaica, which is fine.
Mm.
So
I would almost surmise that there is no challenge too difficult for you to handle if you were able to do that river cruise in China and it came out perfect. You can handle anything. You would
I
agree.
try. Yes, I give it. That's one thing that the internet can't do. The online travel portals like Expedia or Priceline, they won't do that for you.
No,
They can't. And
that's
if
for
you have
sure.
a problem and you call, good luck with it. I'm pretty much open 24/7. Because I have to be available if somebody has a problem. And, you know, we took Ed's in-laws on a cruise in January, you know, and his father-in-law and actually his mother-in-law needed motorized scooters. And his father-in-law needed a hospital bed and a lift recliner all in their cabin. On the,
Wow.
so it's not just a simple matter of just, you know, okay, here you go. You got to make sure the cabin will fit everything, and that there's different qualifiers to get
Yeah,
that
and
help.
I'm sure there's a lot of things that people don't think of that you would probably be able to assist them with
Hmm.
and have that challenge taken care of.
Yeah,
Wow,
I
that's
think
awesome, Sally.
that's a message I want to get across, that if people think they can't travel, they probably can. They
Well,
they just don't know what's available. So that's
that's right.
definitely a message I want to get across. But I love what I
Well,
do, and I love helping
you love
people
what
with
you
their
do.
travel. I do.
I know personally that you do because I've been able to experience many trips with you, which is filling my bucket list. Now, Israel would be another place, plus Ireland. So
There's so
that
many places to go. There's so
I
many
know,
places here in the
I
United
know,
States.
I know. Well, I want to thank you so much for this information. And what I hope we got across was that um, you can help anybody with their travel, things that they need. And so for those that were able to attend, and then for those that will watch the recording, how would people find you on the internet? And any other recommendations that you think would be benefit for them to reach out to you?
Well, of course, if you go to my website, which is mermaidtravel.tours, I've got all of the upcoming trips that are group trips.
Okay.
I don't just do group trips; I do individual trips too. But you're not going to find those, of course, because those are personal trips. You're not going to find those on my website. Um, just reach out to me, whatever
Mm-hmm.
your circumstances are. It's some places people with special needs or disabilities cannot go. There's just some places they can't go,
Yeah.
um, and some places can go, but it might be a little more difficult. So that's one of the things I help people through.
Um, Kathy has a question.
I see.
Wait,
You're
wait, wait.
muted.
You're muted.
Thank you. My question is, what do we have to take with us or travel with to show that we've had the vaccine? I know you've heard all this conversation about there's going to be some sort of a vaccine passport type thing, but right now I just have this little piece of paper that the drugstore gave me.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
sufficient?
yeah, front and back. If there's a back to it, both sides,
Okay.
because it's going to be, you won't be able to cruise without proof of vaccine, or you won't be able to fly without proof of vaccine, and you won't be able to come to the on the train trip in Elkins, West
Okay.
Virginia, unless you have proof of um, the
Now,
vaccine. And it's
would it be beneficial for us to get that laminated so
yeah,
it doesn't get all beat up after a while?
because it is going to be beat up after a while. So yeah,
Yeah.
laminating is yes.
Okay. Okay.
And of
Cool.
course, you still wear mask.
Yeah.
I'm fully vaccinated. I saw you are too, Kathy,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Um, so, and I've done my 2 weeks now. So, but whenever we go out here, we wear a mask and
Yeah.
social distance. And it was this, we have a huge place here. So we had 8 people here, but it was like my family pod. So, so it was,
Oh,
we were able to social distance because there's just so much space here. And that's actually the best vacation to take right now, either an RV or a rental,
uh-huh.
because you can bring your food in. That's what we do. We bring our food in and cook here. kind of like being at home, only the scenery's different.
Yeah. I like that.
Yes,
I like that.
I do too.
Angie, do you have any questions?
Anybody else have a question? Angie?
Now, I do have another one for Sally. You said that you didn't like Morocco. Is that correct? Is that what
Correct.
I heard you say?
Where
Can
we
I-
were in Morocco. Where we were in it.
Oh,
We were-
can I ask why you would make, because I haven't found a place so far that I didn't like. So what was it that you didn't like?
It's pretty dirty. We were in Marrakesh, so I'm sure there's other places. And but it was fascinating because we did that camel ride into the Sahara Desert and spent the
Okay.
night. But
Okay.
and I wouldn't say it's exactly scary, but I didn't feel real comfortable
Okay.
there. I was with, of course, Matt. And by the way, he thinks these glasses make me look like an old grandma.
Oh, no, I think they make you look pretty cool, actually. Yeah. No, I love it. I love
He
it.
said, I told him, I said, these are the glasses I got for the Antarctica. And he says, well, with the parka and these glasses, you'll look pretty cool. But
Sally, if
Yes.
you had the string hanging down from those, that's grandma.
and these are just my earphones.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just, I had that whole the person wanted to buy me incident
Yeah.
in Morocco. The mountains are beautiful, but the country that we went through, you could see Jesus walking out of the buildings. I mean, they were still cutting hay by hand and drawing out water. I mean, they had Wi-Fi and all those modern conveniences, but it's kind of dirty where we were. So
Interesting.
yeah. Now maybe other places, maybe by the coast, it'd be different, but not where we were.
Interesting.
In Paris, I'm not in a hurry to go back to Paris.
I've heard that several times, but it's still on my list because I've never been, so I got to go at least once.
Yeah, but we went to Rome last year, and the river cruise, European river cruise. I highly recommend those. We'd do that again.
Okay.
Sure. We go back to Italy again. But I mean, sometimes I say my favorite trip is the one I haven't taken yet, because they're all different.
Yeah.
So it's hard to quantify what makes, unless it's Morocco. That was easy. But what makes one thing better than the other, because they're all different and you have different experiences. They're all learning experiences.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait.
I do too. Thank you, Sally. It has been very enlightening, and I really appreciate you taking the time from your vacation to join us today.
My pleasure.
So next year, trying to rush the year here.
Next month.
Next month, we will have another person in the hot seat. Not sure, and I don't give that away until closer to the time. So again, this recording will be sent out to everyone, and you can copy and paste. Oh man, and the link so that you can you will lost my train of thought. That happens to all of us.
We're having a meeting next month. Second Friday of the month at 1:00.
Yes, second Friday of the month, next month. Come and see who's going to be in the hot seat. And I really do appreciate everyone joining today. Thank you very much. And again, remember Sally, if you want to travel, just look up her website and give her a shout.
Oh, and like my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/ of course, Mermaid Travel. And that's all one word, capital M, capital T.
Okay. That is awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much, ladies. And everyone have a great rest of your month. And we'll talk soon. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks, Kathy.